I'll make a motion to return to open session at 9:36 p.m.
Second. Jenny?
Sullivan,
Aye.
Heller, Owen,
Aye.
Lays,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Childers, McGrath.
Aye. Okay, can I have a motion on 15A through H?
I'll move 15A through H.
Resignations.
Second.
So personnel actions.
All
Yes.
personnel actions. Through the job share request. And I would note that I think those are down significantly.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
They've done a very good job of real mistake.
Those were a little out of control. But this
The
is,
job shares, what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yeah, they don't, it's the insurance, and they don't step after each half year of work.
Amazing. Awesome.
okay, any questions or comments?
On the,
A through H on 15, the
this is the
Personnel
new
actions?
assistant principals and assistant principals.
yes, the new assistant principals.
I do have a question on T, but can I raise the question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. For regarding the assistant principal, as we aware, and I do support personally, heartily regarding finding a good qualified teachers or assistant principals to our school for the best of our school. But I'm looking at the 3 different schools, and we already do have 2 assistant principals inactive, and looks like we are hiring another or creating another assistant principal for teaching and learning. And again, I'm supporting on the qualified, having a qualified teachers in this situation, but paying them $120,000 times 3, that's a $360,000 per annual. And do we really need to have creating another assistant principal? And what is their role or responsibility for teaching and learning compared to the existing one, like assistant principal for students, the other one is assistant principal for personal services. So maybe can someone fill us in on this?
Yeah, you were at a disadvantage because that was that conference call when you were in Korea and you're on here because it was getting rid of 1, 4 and adding 3.
Yeah. So we had a plan not only to add these, but to find a way to pay for them. So we literally reduced 4 administrative positions. So we reduced 4 and we're adding 3 back. So there's a net loss of 1 administrative position. But to your point, why this position? Those who have worked with me a long time and worked with Barb know how passionate I am about teaching and learning. It is why these buildings exist. No position exists anywhere, frankly, like this position. It's why we had almost 300 people apply for these positions. But the skill sets that we're looking for, which is the ability to work with coaches, to have coached themselves, to clearly understand high quality instruction, to have evaluated staff, to be able to provide professional development, and to have courage to evaluate staff appropriately. This position will be to advance our attempt to get into classrooms on a regular basis to ensure the highest quality instruction. There is one thing that a Board of Education can do that is more important than anything else to improve our schools. One thing: improve the quality of teaching in every classroom. And this position, working with our instructional coaches, one of the changes that we made in the last negotiation is beginning next year, every teacher in our district will have an individual coaching plan. Every teacher. So if we can do one thing and focus on one thing, raise the quality of teaching in every classroom, it's the single best thing that we can do. This job, Jen, is created to have a person who is freed up to be literally in classrooms 75% of the time, working with department chairman, working with the principal, working with the instructional coaches, to, in the same way that Tiger Woods has 2 swing coaches. Well, teaching human beings is more complex than playing golf. And this is an attempt to elevate the art and the science of teaching to reflect the importance of the mission in 2014. You know, we pay our teachers a lot of money, and they're worth every penny of it, but I think it advances the mission of a district, which is to improve learning, when we really hold our teachers accountable to be the very best that they can be. And this is an attempt to, frankly, our administrative model was built in 1955. In 2014, our needs have changed a lot in the teacher quality control. It used to be teachers went and taught and they closed their door and nobody ever came around except once a year to kind of check on what's going on. The better model is to sort of tear those walls down and to elevate the teaching really to a laboratory environment so that we're studying good teaching, we're videotaping, we're analyzing, and we're really trying to raise everybody's game.
I think that's what the emphasis is, to raise the game.
Yeah. So,
And we're doing it in a cost neutral way.
in a cost-neutral way.
It doesn't actually cost.
It's actually reshaping it, and to give them the appropriate cachet that they have to have in the building, we felt like the assistant principal title was important. I'm okay with the discussion moving forward about how we might look at even more restructuring at the building level to maybe answer some of your questions. But, you know, we try to be fiscally sound with it, but at the same time, address the most important thing that any school can address, which is having the very highest quality teacher in every single classroom, providing the very best education for our students. And this is really a systemic approach to help us get better at that.
But when we grow up, normally we have a principal and maybe one assistant principal.
In
Maybe-
smaller schools, maybe.
Well, high school, yeah. But at the same time, maybe what about the possibility of to rebalancing with the existing teacher? But when you think about high school, having 3 different assistant principal, I don't know how reliable when we see from, this is not like a couple thousand university population or anything like that, but having isn't it 3 principals, 3 assistant principals is actually kind of like lot, huge numbers at the school?
Not really.
Chicago suburban school districts.
The school district I came from in 2011, they had 5 assistant principals in every one of their schools. So it was surprising when I came here that there was only 2. Yeah.
They divide them up alphabetically.
Well, so
No,
our
they don't
SPS
have
directors,
deans. Their deans are
just
considered
speaking
assistant
frankly,
principal.
our SPS directors, that job
Would you have
is
assistant
as
principals?
large and important as any
Sure.
assistant
It was
principals,
long before.
and we call them directors, and so, you know, I'm not afraid of having a further discussion, but Jen, in this particular case, one of the things that we're trying to do is we've been very much at the forefront of teacher leadership in District 207. We have one of the country's best teacher leadership programs, and we've invested heavily in really trying to increase the quality of teaching. And so this is an attempt to make sure that our administrative resource matches that goal. Principals, they have such a wide and demanding job, they can't always get into classrooms. The other principals have very defined roles, important roles, but defined roles that don't allow them to get into the classrooms as much. This person will really have the day-to-day role to get into a lot of classrooms, to do a lot of walkthroughs, to really check in and know better than anybody in the building what's really happening in every classroom, the quality, and where we need, you know, we need to give support to teachers. And the end goal is really just to try to have the best teacher in every classroom we can have.
This base salary is less than $1,000 higher than our highest teacher salary, and these people are working 260 days versus 185 days.
So we need someone to be in the classroom, which is
And
to provide
teachers.
the support to teachers and to provide this oversight as we're trying to develop better teachers. And the most appropriate title that gives them the sense of authority that they're going to get from folks, from the other teachers, is to make them an assistant principal. We're not paying them extravagant amounts of money. They are working 12 months. We have to have someone doing this position in order to improve teaching. we've gotten rid of administrators whose positions were not, were not really fitting into the current model. And we're just putting people in positions to do a job that needs to be done, and that's the title we're giving them, and it's not costing us any more than the 4 people we had doing work we didn't need done as much.
Yeah, it's really trying to reflect, again, we've had a model that's been in place for a long, long time.
Unless
School has changed,
board member Lee has.
we haven't changed as much with them.
But I do support and I do agree in that, and definitely the quality of the teachers and so on, but I have to, I want to be very cautious what I'm kind of saying, but when we have the best, like you said, when we have a best of best teachers and the qualities and services, programs that we have for Maine Township, but when we're looking at truthfully, when we're looking at open the book, and when the parents, when they're moving into our community, try to send them a good high school, when we're looking at the numbers compared to, I have to compare nearby, local, GBN, GBS, Stevenson High School, Nutria High School, Northside Prep High School, when we look at that, we are not on their radar at all. And based on we are spending that such high expenses, money and investment and everything, why the, let's say the community in general or people were not coming into, let's say they rather go to other school, and when they consider a other community school are more higher, supreme, and all the teachers are more qualified, they're willing to spend more money on such, compared to our situation is not realistically different than. So that's my dilemma, truthfully.
Well, and so you mentioned,
Well, I would argue
Yeah.
that when you're choosing a place to buy a house and move your family, schools are just one element to that. It's
They're the driving element.
It's how the town is run, it's, you know, location of parks and other elements there, public services, you know, and what other controversies exist. You know, and Niles, Village of Gulf, Norfolk Grove, Park Ridge, Des Plaines. This is different here than you're gonna find when you're talking to Stevenson, you're talking Lincolnshire and neighborhoods up there. I mean, the commercial base is different up there than you're gonna turn around and find here.
You really need to compare growth, I think.
And, you know, Lake County, McHenry County, I mean, you've had some monumental growth heading up north, but even heading out west, Palatine and so forth. I mean, you've taken some of those populations and increased them by 30% in the last, you know, 15, 20 years.
I'm talking about academic growth. I mean, the schools can't really control what they get.
What they come in and
Control
what
what
they
they
do.
do with them.
I just want to say one other thing. I view, and I mean, I'm at a little bit more of an advantage with the education committee has been hearing about these positions for a while. I view these positions as bringing Maine into a whole different area as far as improving teaching and learning. I really think it's the most important, possibly the most important.
well, and so I think to your point, how do we position the Maine Township schools, who, especially Maine East, Maine West, they aren't very much like New Trier. They're vastly different. The students are vastly different. So how do we position those schools to be the very best that they can be, to take students who are starting at a much lower average than the incoming students at New Trier or Stevenson, and maximize their growth? How can we provide, that's what this is about. It's going to be hard for any of the Maine schools to match New Trier. New Trier is one of the wealthiest communities in the world, and there's a direct linear correlation between that and performance. It's not an excuse, it's just a mathematical fact. So how do we take a trend line in our schools, which is increasing poverty, increasing ethnicity, increasing ELL students, and how do we coach our teachers up to do the very best job for our students? And it's all linked together. The things that you heard from Maine West on the support for the RTI and the student personnel services, it's linked to this. So this is I mean, we're really trying to systematically, Jen, be the very best that we can be. We don't think we're as good as we can be. We think we can be better. And I think that's, you know, what we're trying to do is really recognize that our degree of difficulty for our incoming students at all 3 of our buildings is increasing. Now, we've been able to stay ahead of the curve, but the challenge gets mightier and mightier, and so this is a way for us, we think we can improve. And I think
Again,
that,
I appreciate that, and truthfully, I do not have an answer for this kind of situation. But when we, again, looking at the data and so on, when we're looking at the early graduation rate, the students are going from, after they graduate here, they go to the Oakton Community College 2-year. It's the cost and general, the number population-wise. But when we're looking at some other different surrounding school, you'll be surprised there go to UIUC, UIC, Northwestern, or generally speaking. So we can see that the parents, I'm sure maybe many people agree or not, but when I see my surrounding parents who have high school kids, or they're going to high school level, they are very particularly cautious and they are willing to sacrifice and everything to send their kids moving to Glenview and Northbrook to go to GB and GBS. And I tell them, hey, come to Main Township, Main West. They will, they're looking at a different way.
but part of that's perception over reality. I mean, the truth is, we're the largest supplier of students to Oakton. But within Oakton's footprint is New Trier, is GBN, is the Glenbrooks, is Niles, and Evanston. I will bet you, and I don't know the answer, but I'll bet you that just like us, all of those schools send more students to Oakton than any other one place, even New Trier. I will bet you the same thing's true, and I'll find out. So I don't think their patterns on Oakton are any different than ours, but like New Trier, we send students to Northwestern and Yale and Harvard and UIC and Illinois and Iowa and plenty of places like that as well. And you hear some of these students every year. We've got a girl that's going to go to MIT. So I think that we're doing much better than perhaps the perception is. I don't have a negative viewpoint of Oakton. I think Oakton has a very important role to play for many of our students, and so I don't have a derogatory view of Oakton. I think they play an important role for many parents, and most students who go to Oakton then go on and go to, one of my sons started at Oakton, went to Indiana University from there. And so one started at Oakton, he went to UIC from there. So it is possible, and very happens all the time, that students start at Oakton, but then they go someplace else. So I don't have the view of Oakton that's negative. Oakton, I think.
Sometimes it's a function of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and that's a very real possibility.
If we look at our student population compared to New Trier, the number of students on free and reduced lunch.
Dramatically different.
I'd like to call a question.
Okay, are there any additional questions? Okay, take the roll.
Childers.
Aye.
Lays.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Owen.
Aye.
Heller. Sullivan.
Aye.
McGrath.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Education adopt a resolution approving the amendment to administrative contracts.
Second.
Who's that?
Done.
Sorry.
Questions, comments? Okay, take the roll, please.
Owen.
Aye.
Heller.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Lays.
Aye.
Childers.
Aye.
McGrath.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to the Board of Education confirm with respect to confidentiality of the board's closed session minutes, that those minutes or portions thereof identified in attachment A be made available for public inspection, and determine that the need for confidentiality still exists on those identified in attachment B. The attachments A, B, be filed with the official minutes of the February 4th, 2013 board meeting, and that specific closed session verbatim recordings as found in attachment C be destroyed. I would change that to the attachment that be filed with the official minutes of February 3rd. I'm confused here. You've got
Unless we're going to
February
stay here
4th,
for another 2 hours.
Well, but it's also wrong here. February 3rd, 2014. But that attachment A be filed with the official minutes of February 3rd, 2014 board meeting, and that specific closed session verbatim recordings found in attachment C be destroyed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Take the roll, please.
Owen.
Aye.
Lays.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Heller. Childers.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
McGrath.
Aye. Is there anything for 18?
Just a quick question. I just kind of lost it in other items. why is there a different logo on Main South High School? Why there are two different logos that they have been recently used?
Every school has a variety that they use in different.
So they,
Each one has at least 3 different ones that they rotate through.
I see.
And Main South's newest one is their 50th
50th
anniversary.
anniversary.
Is that what that was? Oh, okay, because I was looking at two different logos for Main South, I go, oh, how did that happen? Okay. So they do combine 3 different logos.
Item 19,
I make a motion the Board of Education approve the closed session minutes from January 6, 2014 as amended.
okay. Questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Childers. Lee. Lace.
Aye.
Owen.
Aye.
Heller. Sullivan.
Aye.
McGrath.
Aye.
Number 20,
20,
make a motion that the board approve the settlement agreement between Main Township High School District 207 and the Asbestos Settlement Trust as presented.
okay. Questions? Okay. Call the roll.
Lace.
Aye.
Childers. Lee.
Aye.
Heller. Sullivan.
Aye.
Owen. McGrath.
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
I thought there was a real possibility we might be here, so, I just like,
We have to go back in time to 2013.
Yeah. I wasn't even looking at the era. I'm lucky I can get the right era and things to this day.
Thank you.
They have to look.
When opportunity arises, we got a lot of financial all the means
Yeah.
of all this.
Yep.
Well, yeah,
Is it
so-
possible, because when we remember somewhat what they are, what it's going to use, and so on.
There's not.
Sure. And actually, we use that.